Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Steve Moon, your Silicon Valley realtor. If you're new here, thanks for stopping by. This is the place where we talk about everything Silicon Valley lifestyle and about real estate. If you're thinking about selling your home, you've come to the right place. So today, we're going to be talking about something crucial, something that can not only kill a deal, but could leave you exposed for a lawsuit. Yep, we're talking about the mistakes that home sellers make that could actually get them sued. Imagine this. You've been house hunting for months, maybe even years in this crazy market. Finally, you get your offer accepted. You jump through all the hoops, close the deal, get the keys, and move in and start to live your best life. Then, let's say a month later, it starts to rain hard like it does now in the Bay Area, and you discover that that little crack near the living room window, the one that the seller said was a minor stress crack, is now leaking like a faucet. You feel cheated, right? Like you were misled. And in that situation, many buyers will pick up that phone, call a friend who's a lawyer, and the next thing you know, the seller is facing a lawsuit. People sue when they get mad, when they feel like they've been lied to. The real estate market has been a battleground for buyers lately, and we're seeing more buyers fight back by suing sellers that they believe misrepresented their properties because the prices are so high for homes today. Yes, while some sellers might intentionally leave out critical details, most of the time it's not about deception, but it's more about making mistakes that could have been easily avoided with better advice and in preparation. So today, I want to give you 5 tips to protect yourself from lawsuits and even help you sell your home for more money by being fully prepared before listing it. So let's get right into it. When you're selling your home, you want to highlight its best features. So maybe you recently updated the furnace, replaced the water heater, or installed a brand new roof. Naturally, you want to mention these things in your listing because you're proud. But here's where it could get tricky. If you don't have precise details, you might unknowingly mislead buyers by the words that you choose in your description. So here is an example that I heard from another agent in the office. A seller replaced their roof and listed it as a new roof in the marketing material. But the buyer assumed new meant that it had been replaced within the last couple of years. However, during the escrow period, the buyer discovered that the roof was actually 6 years old. To the seller, 6 years might still feel pretty new, but to the buyer who expected it to be new, meaning within the past couple of years, it felt misleading. The deal nearly fell apart because the buyer threatened legal action unless the seller credited them $15,000 to avoid a lawsuit, and the seller had to pay it out. So his choice of words in this situation cost him $15,000. So how do you avoid this? Simple, be specific. So instead of saying new roof, say roof replaced in 2019 with a 30-year composite shingle. So if you don't have records or receipts or written proof, it's better simply not to make such a claim at all. Disclosures are one of the biggest sources of lawsuits in real estate. And here's the rule. Disclose, disclose, disclose. If you're aware of an issue, simply put it in writing. So let's say a garbage disposal failed and the water backed into the sink and overflowed when you were out of town for a couple of days or over the weekend. Water damaged the cabinetry and also the flooring. So you fixed it, and of course it never happened again. Should you disclose it? Absolutely. You can say, in 2019, due to failures of a garbage disposal, we experienced water intrusion, which damaged the cabinet and flooring, and here are the attached receipts for the corrective work. Providing that type of information up front protects you from liability later. If you try to hide this information, the cover-up is what will bring you into trouble later. Most likely, if you had this type of a damage, there would have been some sort of an insurance claim, and the attorneys can get access to that type of information, which will support their claim of a cover-up. Buyers aren't just looking for what's wrong, they want assurances that the problems were addressed and addressed correctly. If you disclose everything, they're much less likely to come after you later claiming that you hid something. Remember that people sue when they get angry, so try not to get them angry. A lot of sellers think that selling a home as is means that they don't have to disclose anything or make any types of repair. And that's simply not how it works. As is just means that you're not agreeing to make any types of repair, but you're still legally required to disclose known defects. So even if the paperwork says that the buyer is accepting the property in its as-is condition, they can still sue you later for non-disclosure. Exactly like what I mentioned earlier about the garbage disposal situation, if you disclose, they cannot come after you. If you're upfront about known issues, you eliminate the buyer's ability to claim that you misled them in the first place. This is a big one, and most people may not even realize that they're making this mistake. Certain words and phrases in your listing could trigger the fair housing laws, and that could put you in some serious legal trouble. So for example, saying something like great family home or something like ideal for young professionals, those words could be considered discriminatory and trigger fair housing law. It sounds extreme, but it happens. Instead of focusing on who the house is for, focus instead on its features. Spacious home with large backyard and a newly remodeled kitchen. And speaking of fair housing, those buyer love letters that were popular, where buyers write personal notes about why they want your house and all of that, they can be huge risks. If you accept an offer because of emotional details in the letter, instead of strictly basing your decisions on financial and other logistical terms, another buyer could claim discrimination. It's best to avoid these types of letters at all, and many large brokerages tell their agents not to accept these types of letters. So keep that in mind. If you have a Ring doorbell or a Nest camera in the house, or any other type of recording device, you must disclose to buyers and people that's walking through your house that you are recording them. Many states have strict wiretapping laws, and one-sided recording of buyers and their agents during showings could be illegal, and it certainly could be in California. Make sure that you have signs stating that the property is being recorded. I know this sounds stupid and kind of an overkill, but it is better to be safe than sorry. So just put it in where they can see it and take pictures so you can have support that you did this. So what can you do to avoid these types of potential legal pitfalls? Here are 4 steps that I think can be helpful. First, get a pre-listing home inspection. This helps you identify potential problems to the buyers, but I think more importantly, it passes along the potential liability to the inspectors by having them disclose, in their opinion, how new something was or when certain item was last replaced. Secondly, be specific in your listings. Provide exact years or months of the updates and the repairs instead of using vague terms like new or newer. Third, disclose everything in writing. Over-disclosure is better than under-disclosure. If a buyer knows about an issue up front, they can't claim later that you hid it. And finally, keep a paper trail. Document everything, conversations with your agent, and keep receipts for all the works that's been done to the household, and then attach those when you do your disclosures. most sellers don't make these mistakes intentionally, but even an innocent oversight can lead to potentially costly legal bills. So by being upfront, transparent, and documenting everything, you'll not only protect yourself from lawsuits, but also build trust with the buyers, making the whole process smoother and hopefully more profitable. And that's it for today. If you found this to be helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe for more Silicon Valley real estate tips. And if you have any comments or questions, please drop them in the comment section below. I'd love to read about this and help you out if possible. So see you in the next video.